Parsha Shmois, Tovshin Pegim, Ubasiyata Deshmaya. They shtickle Kedusha Slavi from the Baditcheverov in Parshas Vayechi on the Pasuk God Gedud Yigudenu. He speaks about Tefila. What happens when a person davens? This is an interesting line, which is it's a Pesach. It opens up a lot of understanding in Tefila and in Bitochen. The Kedusha Levi says like this: when a person davens, the person which is extremely limited connects with the Rebbeinu Shalom, which is infinite. And his words are like this: Ha'odom b'tefila, so a person while he davens, mizdabek atzmoi v'HaKadosh Baruch Hu, connects with the Rebbeinu Shalom, with Hashem. Va'odom hu dovo sheyesh lo soif. The human being is limited, is yesh lo soif. V'HaKadosh Baruch Hu ein lo soif. Hashem is infinite. V'nimtza odom oile mi madregas soif le madregas ein soif. That's what happens when a person davens. There's a conversation taking place between the human being that was created with its creator. Hashem created the human being. When a conversation is taking place, there's a connection happening. Even human beings, when you talk to someone, so it forms a connection. So with the Rebbeinu Shalom, that connection that happens while a person davens is connecting the person which is limited with the Rebbeinu Shalom, which is Ein Sof. And then what happens is that brings abundance to the person from a source of infinite, from the Rebbeinu Shalom, which is Lelo Yigvul. That's what happens when a person davens. Now, of course, that opens up abundance to know with no limits, because you're connecting and you're taking out from a be'er, from a fountain which doesn't ever end. That's what's happening while a person is davening. Number 2, this is one line of the Kedushas Levi. Now, of course, we want to go back to explain it better, but before that, let's learn a line of the Noam Melech, the Melech from Mezensk, that he, in the first shtickle on Parshas Vayechi, refers to something else which explains a different part of our davening. There's a Mishnah in Masechtas Brochus that Reb Chanina ben Doisa, he wouldn't know after he davened what would have happened to the choile. It's a Mishnah. They came to Reb Chanina ben Doisa and they said, please daven for this and this, for so and so. And he said, okay. And he went up to the attic, as it says, Olola Aliyah, he went up and he davened, then he came down and he said, okay, he's going to make it. And on the others he says, no, he's not going to make it. And they asked him, how do you know? So the Mishnah says, he said, Im tvilasi shguro befi. How would you touch that? Shguro befi. Shguro is... flows easily. That's what usually, that's the touch of the word. So, which means I saw the davening, it's just going, it's working, it's connecting, it's work. Then I knew it's a good tefillah. But if I saw it's not flowing, it's not going, then I knew it's a tefillah it's not going to happen. So the Noam Melech asks a question. He says that it should have rather said in the Mishnah that if he didn't have any mistake while he davened, no mistakes, and the other option is that he couldn't say it because he made a mistake. Gimgum, he calls it in Lashon Kodesh. Shgura is usually used as a term when a person is used to it already. He said it so many times. Let's say, Mashav Ruach Mor Geshem, in the end of the winter. You know it already by heart. You know it in your sleep. That's usually in Lashon Kodesh with the word Shgura. It's flowing because it's already, you said it so many times. It's as if someone is saying a lecture on something that they say every time they go away for Shabbos. It's the same. It flows because he had said it so many times. And that, the Noam Melech, the Rebbe Melech just asked, why would that come into the Tefillah? Because he said it so many times? It doesn't make sense. That's not part of the equation when he's trying to feel if his Tefillah is working or not. See, he mentions in the Sefer a very interesting concept. It says it very bekitzer, It's in short, but in different svarim it's explained. This Yesoid is brought down in the Ramchal. The Ramchal, the author of Mesilas Yesharim, has a drush that's called Drush HaKivui. Kivui is like we say, Kivinu Kol Hayoim. It's a different, not hope, it's something, a drop, a different word. Yearning. It's the word that we need to use. We're going to be using it a lot in this shir. It's that word. Kivui. So the Ramchal explains, and the Rebbe Melech explains it in short, that the Nivra, anything that was created, the creation, when it yearns, when it seeks connection, when it yearns to its creator, that causes that there's koiches by the creator, which will be going out min hakoyach al hapoel. I don't know how to say that one. It means it's going to be coming out, it's hidden, and it's going to come out, it's going to be revealed by the makabel, by the creation yearning to its creator. Now, in order to explain this concept, we're going to use a very simple example, which there you could see it very much. And I discussed it with someone that's a Rebbe already. He's a Magid for tens of years, and he was jumping when we were discussing this topic. When you have a Talmud that is so interested in hearing and listening and asking, that would cause that the Rebbe should find a way to explain something, should come up with very, very interesting ideas and explanations and chidushim, because it's like when you take water out of the be'er, it just comes more and more and more. But if the Rebbe goes to the say, he said, "Did you learn this Gemara already? Let me teach it to you," and he's like sitting there and he's verklotzt and that, then what happens is that the mind of the Rebbe is locked up. He can't bring out what he wants to be able to convey. He can't bring it out min hakoyach al hapoel. He can't verbalize. He can't bring it out. This example explains Klapid Rebbeinu Shalom. It doesn't chas v'shalom mean the Rebbeinu Shalom can't. It means the system of the creation was built that way, that the Rebbeinu Shalom wants to send and wants to give leloi gvul, wants to be mashpia, toiv, and parnosa, and chochma, and refuah, and everything. But the way that these koiches could come out min hakoyach al hapoel is by the creation yearning to its creator. That causes the mashpia, the Rebbeinu Shalom, to actually be mashpia. Yeah, this Rusa de la Sata is the Zohar HaKodesh, the Hisoirus. From the bottom up, from the Makabel, that caused the Rebbeinu Shalom could now be mashpia. Now we have Rashi in Parshas Bereishis, which explains that the grass was ready to come out of the ground, but as long as Adam Rishon didn't daven, it was waiting on the surface. He davened, it started growing. So Rashi says because it can't happen without Tefila. I mean, that's the system of the world. The world is like mechuvan. It's set up to be trying to gain shefa, trying to live off the Rebbeinu Shalom. And when you daven, you're like pushing it closer, and that causes that the Rebbeinu Shalom should be mashpia. That's what happens. So the Melech says an interesting thing. Anything that's supposed to happen is already hidden. The Rebbeinu Shalom, there's no future and past and present. Everything is the same, but it's hidden. When a person davens, you just see it. It just comes. It comes out in this world. You're going to see it in this world because it's going to come out min hakoyach al hapoel, but it was always there. So, yeah, the Rebbeinu wants to give it. The mother wants to give more than the child wants to nurse, wants to eat. The Rebbeinu wants to give. So now here it is. The Rebbe Melech explains it like this: you have a person davening for something. And that's one of the two. It's always one of the two. Or it's just waiting. The Rebbe is waiting for your tefillah because the Rebbe wants to give it to you. But you didn't come to take it. How do you come to take it? You realize that I need to ask the Rebbe Shalom for it, and only the Rebbe Shalom can help me. And you set yourself up to be a makabel. You set yourself up to be muchan, to be ready, to be ro'ui, that you should be able to then. Oh, the Rebbe Shalom was waiting for that. Beautiful. Now I can give it to you. A lot of times you see one truck is trying to spill over content to a different truck or whatever it is. Now it's waiting for the click. You know what I mean? It's like you're not there yet. You can't push the button yet. Well, and it's exactly. Oh, now you're ready. Now it clicked in. The Adam with his emunah, with his tshuva, with his understanding, he learns a sefer before davening to get him into the mode. He says Psukkah de Zimra, and Psukkah de Zimra, the person is putting into his head the exact information that's needed for his head to get turned to the right direction. And the Rebbeinu Shalom Yisrael Hashem l'chol hanoiflim, and we yearn einei choil. Everybody's eyes is looking out and yearning to the Rebbeinu Shalom Melech Yisaberu Pesach Yodecha, and then you put yourself straight. Then Shemona Esrei can bring down everything that you needed to have. But if it happens to be that the request, the bakosha that you're asking from the Rebbeinu Shalom is not supposed to happen, no matter what, it's not supposed to happen, because there's a system of the neshamas and a system of Mashiach and there's all kinds of cheshbonos. Why it's not going to happen? Then then even if the person is going to do all that, it's not going to be changed, because we never change when we daven. What we do is we change ourselves that we should be mucham, we should be roi, that we should be able to get the shefa. That's all a person does by davening. It's a befeish sefer or ikrim. Here we go. The sefer or ikrim. He says people are mafakbik. They doubt in davening. They say, if the Rebbeinu Shem set up a gzeira that it should happen, then you don't need to daven. And if the Rebbeinu Shem did not set up in the creation that this should happen, how is Tefila going to help? He brings the Sefer Ikrim from the Rishonim, just to understand. Like the level Rambam, Ran, all that, Sefer Ikrim is a Rishon. Even a Matnas Chinam, when a person is asking, not because he's worthy, is because it could be that the Rebbeinu Shem is set it up at Chilas Habriya that he's going to give it to me. Hashem knew that you're going to ask the Matnas Chinam before you were created. Yeah, nothing changed. You were roi for Matnas Chinam. Every person is roi for Matnas Chinam. And if it happened, it means it was said to be that it's going to happen at Katchila. Anything that a person got, it means it was there. It was there all the time. It's just that you didn't daven for it. A lot of times, someone once told me he was thinking with Derech Moshel. He had a lot of them $15,000-$20,000. He was supposed to pay someone for a job or whatever. It wasn't set up that he owed it to him. It was like when the person is going to ask for the money, they continue to work, then they're going to give it. And the money was laying in the account. And that person didn't know to ask, didn't think, he was embarrassed, and it was another week, till he told somebody else, they didn't pay me. So I was speaking to one of the people that were involved, one of the parties. He told me, I was thinking to myself, it's mamash and mashal for tefillah. The money's in the account and I want to give it. I'm just waiting, you should ask for it. Anything that a person got, it means that the Rebbeinu Shalom set it up like a tefillah that he should get it, and it was there before B'riyas Ha'olam. Zero shinoi. There's no shinoi with the Rebbeinu Shalom. It was there before B'riyas Ha'olam. Just it cannot come out min hakoyach lapoil only when the creation, when the nivra, the human being, yearns and connects, then it's going to come to him. He explains here that every time you daven, the hachona, that means the keli, which is supposed to be getting that shefa, that changed. The Rebbeinu Shalom's mahalchim never changed.
How do we translate it in someone that's sick and everyone's davening?
How do you translate when someone's sick and everybody's davening? It's not an example that you're giving a moshel. This is what you're talking about. The Mishnah is talking about that. Now let's get to your. This is what we're holding with a shir. You're not taking away out of out of the line of the Shia. Now, Zog the Noyam Melech, there's a Mishnah in Brochus. The Mishnah in Brochus talks about a choile which is sick, and everybody's davening for that person. And there's a family. Let's look at it real. It's not a Mishnah. The Mishnah is talking about a real case. B'nai Shram and Gamliel. There was a mother, there was children, there was Yisoimim. I don't know exactly then how old the choile was, but it was real. And the Mishnah says, they went to Reb Chanina. Reb Chanina said, listen, I'll check it out. He comes back after davening, he says, okay, it's good. It's done. How do you know? Zog the Noam Melech, I'll explain to you how to teach that Mishnah. Shegura b'fi means that it's flowing because, like we said before, he said it so many times, like he's reminding himself. Zog the Noam Melech, tzaddikim could feel when they daven that this is not the first time. I'm not like trying to change anything now. I feel that it's something that's supposed to happen, and it's shogur because it was already. Even before I davened, this Yeshua was there already. I didn't have to convince the Rebbeinu Shalom to change it. I davened only in order to be able to bring out these koiches from the koich al apoil, which means that the Nivra reminds himself of the koiches from the Rebbeinu Shalom and dveikus and all that, and the Yeshiv connects to the Ein Sof. That's what I did. But if Reb Chanina ben Dosa felt that I'm trying to change something, it means it was never around. I'm trying to make something new. There's no such a thing.
From the Rebbeinu Shalom, not from
Yeah,
the Dosa.
right. Not sugar in his mouth with his lips. Sugar means that in the neshama feels that it was already. I didn't do anything right now. It was supposed to happen anyways. I was just the one that was brought it closer. It should be able to calm you. Which means, in the question that you said, that when people daven for a choile, many times it looks like mit ausgeput. It was, if a Yeshua happened, even if it looked like it was mamash, if a Yeshua happened, it means that lekatchila, the Rebbeinu Shalom was set up with Chila Sabri that it's going to look like it's the end of the story, and then a Yeshua happened. You could only know that afterwards. If a Yeshua happened, it means that the tefillas, we always say the tefillas am geholfen, you could see, you could feel the tefillas are helping. Of course it's true. Of course, because without those tefillas, it wouldn't be able to come down to this world physically that should happen. But b'shoirish, this Yeshua was around beforehand, but you wouldn't be able to put your grip on it. It wouldn't be tangible. You wouldn't be experiencing it in this world. If not, that through tefillah, you brought it down. If Reb Chanina ben Dosa davens for that choil and he does all that, and he still feels nothing happened. Now, here's where it's important. Now comes the part of the shir, which is so important. Then I understand something. Then the Baal Gvul, the limited person, didn't connect to the Ein Sof. Then nothing happened. It means you plugged it in. There's no electric. It's just there's no light turning on. Reb Chanina ben Dosa came back and he said, I don't know. I don't feel like I davened. It's not working. It doesn't say that in the Mishnah. And the name of the Melech explained that's not what it says in the Mishnah. It's something else. There's anyways something going to happen by that tefillah. But usually we're used to saying, listen, it might help for the Einiklach. You can never know. It helped for something. But there's a little bit of a mistake here. It's much stronger than that. Not only it helps for something else. Like Hashem channels all this, a lot of times people make a campaign and they take a lot of money, and then since there was a story, a few friends here, I know the people, they collected a lot of money because someone lost some very expensive zach, and all the friends got together and they wanted to return the amount of money, and then he found it. Then what did he do? They had like a large amount of money. Akaponim, what do you do with the tefillah? We davened. Okay, so you know what? We're just going to invest it somewhere. It's much deeper than that. The mispalo, the person that did something when they davened, if you did something, you changed your mind and you rewired your brain. That's what tefillah is all about. You're rewiring it to make it a keli, to be able to be makabel, a understanding, a light, Torah, Rebbeinu Shalom. That's what happens when a person is davening. They make themselves ro'ui. How do you say ro'ui? No, worthy. No, but to set up in a way, he calls it achana. Achana, a lot of times you set up not a blueprint, even more than that. They call it in Hebrew, they call it hachana for something. A model. That means the wires, it's like you don't know if that person is going to put an AC, but you're already putting in the ducts and everything in there, so it's ready. You just have to connect the machine. But when a person is davening, they're putting into them that they're ready to be able to get the ore from the Rebbeinu Shalom. Now, what does that mean? That means like this: Toiva Nigla is going to come to the person in one of two ways. One of two. Or the person is going to come gesund, healthy again, and refuah and chaim and all that. If it's not supposed to happen no matter what, and you davened the way you're supposed to daven, and you turn around your mind, that's the main part of tefillah, then you know what's going to happen? The person is going to become a keli to understand that this was the bezach. And they're not going to be going through a trauma. Trauma, the pshat is that they cannot handle it. A person, they cannot handle it because something happened and the person is not ready to be able to handle such information. But when a person went through this whole seder, this whole system, this whole mahalach, then what happens is that they get an or. They get the or that they understand that this is toiv. Now we don't understand that it's toiv. It's so hard to swallow such a pill that it's painful, very, very, very painful. But we believe. That believing has levels. There's a level of emunah which it hurts so badly, but you're just saying over the words because you want to be able to be mechazik yourself. There's a different level of emunah which a person be'emes is relieved. They go on to their life. They feel that the Rebbeinu Shem is with them. They feel the Rebbeinu Shem is going to be with them. Now, I'm not saying it's so easy. And I'm not saying that when it's a painful situation, we could just sit there and discuss it, ki'ilu nothing happened. But we have to know the truth. This is the truth. The truth is that if a person works themselves out with tefillah, then they get an answer. Something, that means from their side, they were yearning to the Creator, and something happened. They got an answer. The answer is in the mind and in the heart. That's where the person got an answer. They feel that the Rebbeinu Shalom gave them that they're happy. The Rebbeinu Shalom changes the person's rotzen. So many times we want to change the Rebbeinu Shalom's rotzen. It's the opposite. The Rebbeinu Shalom could make such a trick. This person wanted it so badly. He should get this. He should get that. The Rebbeinu Shalom answered his tefillas by changing his rotzen. He doesn't want anymore. He wanted this shidduch should happen. He wanted to buy that apartment. He wanted to get that job. And then the Rebbeinu Shalom answered his tefillas that he chapped, that it's not good for him, and he's even better off. He doesn't need it. I'm fine. I'm Muslim. It can be better. I don't need anything else. There could be a person that wants to so badly move to different cities, somebody else doesn't want. This person's in a tzara, this person's not in a tzara. Then the Rebbeinu Shalom could take the person that wants to move, and all of a sudden turns around that he doesn't want to move anymore, and he's good. He's good. He's fine. You could have two people saying Tillim. One person saying Tillim he should win the lottery. The other person saying Tillim that B'toy someone bought him a ticket, he hopes he doesn't win it. He doesn't know how he's going to handle it. The Rebbeinu Shalom sends a toiv anigla to the person. A toiv anigla, it gets revealed to the person. It's something actual, something be'emes happens. And that's always going to happen. It's just that if it's Shgura Afir that this is supposed to happen, it's going to come in this Mahalach. If not, then it's going to come to other Mahalach. Now when a person starts davening, a person starts talking to the Rebbeinu Shalom, they don't know. Even Reb Chanina ben Dosa didn't know before he davened. He didn't know. But what did Reb Chanina ben Dosa do? Chanina ben Dosa said, I'm going to make that connection, which is definitely going to bring me a shefa from the Rebbeinu Shalom to me. Definitely. So, or it's going to come that this is going to be, or it's going to be the other mahalach. It's a lot of times important to understand also monetary. I once was listening a conversation. A child was telling the father that, it's such a nest that you bought this apartment 25 years ago when things were so cheap. Imagine if you would have waited till now, it would have cost 10 times as much. So the father, which has learned the Chavis Avavas many times, reacted very cold. He said, listen, the Rebbeinu Shalom made that I bought it 25 years ago. Or he would have made that I would have had the money now to buy it now. So what's the difference? Like, people feel I grabbed because I was matzliach. So it's a nest that I did it that way. It could have been done a zillion different ways. A person davens to the Rebbeinu Shalom. They say, listen, I'm going to be answered for real, for sure. Now, or this is going to be the mahalach, or the mahalach is going to be a different mahalach, but it's going to bring to the same place. We could even say it's even sharper. Why does a person so badly want a certain result? Because he feels that that's going to give him comfort. The Rebbeinu Shalom says, comfort I'm going to give you for sure. It doesn't make much of a difference if it's going to happen because of physically that's going to change, or because you're going to comprehend something different, and then you're going to be able to have comfort from the other mahalach. It doesn't make a difference. So Tefila is always going to give him that ease. It's always going to come, and it's coming from Shefa, it's not therapy. It's a Shefa from the Rebbeinu Shalom, which it is therapy, but it's the shoyrish of therapy. Torah is therapy. What is therapy? Therapy means that the therapist goes deep into the mind of the person, of the patient, and figures out what's wrong and switches it, and then closes shop. It takes time, yeah? That's why it's a few $100s for 45 minutes, because they're trying to dig in till they figure it out after 5 sessions or what, and then they start. But the Rebbeinu Shalom does the same thing. If the person is masking that the Torah should do therapy, that means they open up and they leave go. Then the Rebbeinu Shalom switches something in the mind of the person. The person's comfortable. The person's fine and happy and besimcha and feels the Rebbeinu Shalom kiras elokim and all that. Now, you have to do it gradually. I mean, it doesn't come in one time, but it happens. That's what's supposed to happen by Tefillah. That's what could happen by Tefillah. And that's why we daven to Rebbeinu Shalom, which is Ein Sof. Why? Because if we would daven to something that's limited, then a person wouldn't be sure. Because could be it's not going to be the way I want, or could be the one who I'm asking the favor is not capable of doing it, or it's not possible. But if I'm davening to the Ein Sof, there's nothing that could, and even if you're going to say, yeah, but maybe it's not Bashert, who cares? It's not Bashert, this specific Mahalach, but it's definitely Bashert that the Shefa should come from the Creator to its creation. That's for sure. It's Bashert. So it's always, Tefillah is always going to work if the person knows what they're supposed to be doing. Now let's take this to the topic that we discussed last week. After understanding that this was what Tefillah is supposed to happen, that's what's supposed to do to the person. The concept of Avodas Hashem, which the Chavis Avov is now in Perek Daled is explaining, is that a person is supposed to be oisik in davening and learning, and then he's supposed to enter the Olam Hazeh, and he has to do both together. You cannot live with the mistake, with the misconception that if a person wants to be a tzaddik, it means he has to be in shul all day, and he looks at his darga, at his level in Yiddishkeit, how many hours do I learn, and that. But then, how he acts in his house where nobody sees, it's like a different story. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You're supposed to do like this. You're supposed to be taking or light, Torah, from the Tefillah and from the Torah that a person is learning. And that is supposed to be taking over, invading the Olam Hazeh part of the person, that he should be doing it differently. Now, after what we learned, how Tefillah could change the Ratzon of the person, Tefillah is going to change the Ratzon of the person. So we understand that could be many different mahalchim, how it changes the Ratzon. It means when a person is davening for a tzorah, then a person wants one way, and the Rebbeinu Shalom could change the Ratzon. The person doesn't need it that way anymore. Now let's go to business world. When a person wants to strike it rich or whatever, and that's what he wants to do, a lot of different things that are not necessarily the way it's supposed to. Tefila, if while he's davening, he understands what he's supposed to be doing, Tefila changes his ratzon. It doesn't want anymore. He's not interested anymore, and that's how he becomes a erlachit, because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to steal. He doesn't want anymore. Not that means the tefillah and the Torah that he did in the morning changes the tzaynis in the olam hazeh. So that's how he's capable of being an erlachit while he's doing whatever he's doing in the olam hazeh world, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a dafka business. I just saw yesterday. It was the yahrzeit of a tzaddik, Rebbe Foil from Bereshit. He was a talmid of Pinchas Koritzer. He always used to talk at emes, and he was Moshe Nefesh on emes. He actually left the world because he didn't want to say a lie, so he decided he's being nifta, and he told the Rebbeinu Shalom, I'm done. And there's a Chaim HaKadosh that says that in Bechukos Yetelecha, one of the 42 pshatim, the tzaddikim could decide. They tell the Rebbeinu Shalom, I want to go back. That's what happened. They were choike him. They wanted he should tell out on someone. He didn't want to say a lie, and they didn't want to say the truth. So he asked the Rebbeinu Shalom, he would rather leave the world. He's not interested, and that's what happened. He was an older person. He had a Riches Yomim. But this Rebbe Foil Besh used to go around from town to town, and he used to talk about saying the truth. On emes, he once came to a town, and they knew what he's going to talk about. Now the guy that sold fish, he was a salesperson. Poshet Kipshuta, he was selling fish. He walked out of the shul. So the Rebbe Foil from Bereshit asked him, where you going? He says, I know where you're going to preach. I know exactly what you talk about. And I'm so sorry, but I can't say the truth anyways, because what am I going to say? They're going to ask me if it's fresh from today. What am I going to say? It's from 3 days ago. That's the only way I earn money. So you say your drosha, but I'd rather go home. So this Rebbe Foil Bersha told him, I want to tell you something. I have an idea for you. He told him, let's say a nickel. Decide that for a nickel you're not lying. If the guy is offering you a few dollars, you could gain off the lie a few dollars. Then it's something to talk about. And then after you're gonna get used to it, then you could say, something, a dime. I'm not gonna go lie for 10 cents. That doesn't make any sense. For something bigger than that, and slowly push it up. Every week, push it up. Now the guy did it. He used the advice of Rebbe Foil from Bereshit, and it came to the matziv that he wouldn't lie for any money, for no money in the world. Why? He said, "What for $100? I'm gonna lie? What am I nuts?" I once heard a man saying, "Listen, I'm not gonna get now messed up for less than for $1 million. I'll lie for less than $1 million. I'm not getting into this. Such a musik. It's a way to talk to the Yetzer Hara. That means the Yetzer Hara is saying you could earn. He says, Beseder, but I'm going to go kill myself for small money. What? It doesn't make any sense. At the end of the story goes, in the whole town, they knew that he says the truth. You want to know if it's fresh or not, you go to him. And he ended up making more money than anybody because they know he's a Ish Emes. Now, there's many limudim. The moral of the story is many. You could learn that you should go to Bislach. You could learn. It's a good story in Avodas Hashem to use, not only in lying in different nekudas in Avodas Hashem, but just the other day, a man told me that he used to get 2,000 shekel from Bituach Leumi every month, but he used to have to go down to the office every month and sign that he's unemployed or whatever. He would go down, sign 2,000 shekel into his account every month. One nice day he had a chizik in Shmir Sinaim, and he decided that he has to walk through problematic areas, and it's not good for him. He decided, I don't need a 2,000 shekel a month. If it means, the man told me, if it means that it's not good for my neshama, I'm not looking to where I'm. He dropped it. The end of the story was, of course, that he didn't lose a penny. He told me, he gave me the description. He said one of his incomes is esroigim. That means he how do you say miyun? He he looks at boxes from Esrogim and he sets it up. That means what's a good esrog.
It's the good ones, the better ones.
Categorizes, organizes it. That means he should see, this year it was a Shemitah year, and whoever knew what's going on at Yisrael, now Tafshin Pei Beis, the Shemitah of Tafshin Pei Beis, it rained a lot, and the trees gave out 10 times as much. Mamish, the difference was money. He said that he used to get a day 30,000 shekel. He got a day 1,000 shekel. Every day 1,000 shekel. So usually he would have 7-8 days that he would work. He made 7,000-8,000 shekel. He said he had 30 days. That's how many Esrogim. It was from the same paradise. He got now, right afterwards, he got 31,000 shekel they gave him. He made up for the year. He covered it. But back, we were saying these stories to explain that a person decides one day, something, I'm not interested. It's a Yom Tov that day. It's a fascinating day. We don't chap what happened. It's something amazing. We could watch teenagers sometimes. They're struggling. One nice day, boom. They're good. It was so tough. And they grew out of it. They changed. They turned the corner. You know that? They turned the corner. A person could wake up one day and not be interested anymore. And he says, that's it. I mean, I'm not going to get very much into detail, but many people dropped their phones one day. They said, I don't need this, I don't need that. I have a different way how to give Zachanetz. There's a different type of phone that I could take that has what I need, what doesn't need. And whatever. It doesn't make a difference now. There's different situations, different people, but I'm saying the concept in so many areas, in so many Zachan, which the person's Rotzen changed. How did it happen? You know what an or is? It's Gashmi's dig. The person starts enjoying it. Whatever it is, it doesn't make a difference. The person doesn't have that issue anymore. He doesn't care anymore what that person says about him, what that sister-in-law said. It doesn't make a difference anymore. I don't care. Nothing had to happen. Nobody had to die. It's just that inside there was a switch, and he's enjoying life. That's Tova Nigla. That happens through Tefila. So the same way we understood that every Tefila would bring abundance, that's what supposed to happen by Tefila, and it could make a choila should be healthy again. It could turn into that a person should understand that this is what had to happen, and they could accept it and they could live with it. The same concept is that when a person is supposed to be doing Torah and Tefillah, it's supposed to change the retzonos of the person slowly but surely. He's looking at things differently. He doesn't want to eat from that place anymore. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's always, I don't know the hechsha. He starts changing, and it happens. What gave him the strength? He knew about this concept 10 years ago also. What happened now 10 years later that all of a sudden he has the strength? He says, no, I got older, I'm more mature, I'm looking at life differently. What's that? That's Chochmah V'das that the Rebbeinu Shem gave him in the right direction. You know what that's called? That's called Kabbalas HaTfilas. That's what it's called. You ask the Rebbeinu Shem for Seichel. You ask for Das. You ask the Rebbeinu Shem to help you. You don't have it, Memele. It doesn't happen. A goy, it doesn't happen. A Yid, all of a sudden, he had a chizik. That is part of the system what the Rebbeinu Shem wanted, that we should be in the Olam Hazeh. And we should be busy with the Asiyah. But a person should, his goal should be that he could be an Erlich Yid, and he's investing, and there's money, and there's things going on. He's not a tzaddik Yisrael, he has no shaykhis, he doesn't know. That wasn't the Tachas Abriya. Get married, have children, have issues in life, messy situations. Let me see, Dr. Rebbeinu Shalom, how you can handle a messy situation. Nichnas b'sholem v'yotza b'sholem. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. What people would know, these Erlich Yidden, that they have be'emes messy situations. They're not simple. There's no mahalach. That's why they have to connect to the Ein Sof, to infinite. There's what we call messy. Messy, there's sometimes messy that the situation is what it is, and sometimes it is that the person becomes messy. A messy divorce, you said it was messy. Well, what was messy about it? Sometimes it's the way people acted. Whatever happened, okay. It's not comfortable. It's very, very not geschmack. The situation itself is extremely uncomfortable. But what people go messy is, how did those people act when that happened to them? Now, if a person is not prepared, it's very hard. Because it touches such deep emotion in the person that they lose it. The whole idea of Torah was that the person could continue being Oved Hashem. He could continue being a person because he's bringing the Torah down into saying, okay, so let's take it into pieces. So what am I supposed to do now? What's right? What's wrong? Why am I getting so frustrated? Why am I losing it? Because I feel it's not in my control. Okay, it doesn't have to be in my control. Why do I feel I have to do something that's not appropriate? Because if not, then something's going to happen. No. No. The Rebbe is going to help. If I'm going to do the wrong thing, I'm not going to get to a better mahalach. They could handle things even though it's scary. Even though it's like really, that was a tachas abriya. That was a tachas abriya. That means you could bring the Torah, the Or, all the way in, down there, and it could take over, the Torah could take over the person to the extent that when he's going through something that's the deepest nakudim, he could still, and even if he didn't get 100 then, he got a 90, that's amazing. He got an 80, that's also amazing. As long as he's still fighting, he knows what's supposed to be, he's trying his best not to lose it. But Pshat is the Torah, you're remembering the Torah there. You're not like saying it's two different parts in life. This is when I learn in Koil, and this is when I'm oisik in different things. That's the Tachlis. And the Chavis is saying that's what the Seder Oilam was here for us. That's what the Rebbe Hashem said. You're not going to have bread unless you make money. You're not going to have a shidduch unless you go and you call a shadchan and you discuss it and don't speak Lashon Hara. Yeah. It's not going to happen. And even if a person says, yeah, I have a good idea. Money? His shver had money. He doesn't need money, he has the Yerusha. It's not going to help you. You're going to have to dive into this world no matter what. If it's not, one way or another, you're going to definitely be busy with people, with situations, with messy situations, zicha. And there is no other mahalach to handle it, only with the Torah. And the Or from the Torah changes the heart of the person. The person is not interested. I'm not interested. We said over this story many times. I love the story so much because it brings out the concept. It told us Aaron Rebbe had a mice. Told us Aaron Rebbe Zechon Levrocha. Rabbi Avraham Yitzchak. He was Niftach Hanukkah Tovshin Nun Zayin. He had an amazing story. There was someone that said Lashon Hara about his family. He was Negei Lagabi Shidduch. He gave out a rumor that there's a serious health issue running around the family, and he ruined Shidduchim. It was a mess. So the Askana found out who it is. It was Sheker v'Chosov. It wasn't true. Now they told the Aaron Rebbe that they know who it is or whatever, and they could tell him so he could try to deal with it. Why did that guy put out the rumor? Well, so he said he wants to know if it's Oizgal and Hilchas Lashon Hara. He first wants, and in order to know if he's allowed, if he should know about it, if he should do something about it, he has to learn the whole Chofetz Chaim to figure it out. Now he traveled to Melbourne, to Australia, in those years for the Moises, for the Kehila. So he said, okay, 24-hour trip on the flight. I'll learn the Chofetz Chaim throughout the trip. It was a 2-week trip, there and coming back. He said, I'm designating that. I'm going to learn. And then when I come back, I'm going to give an answer. He came back and he said, okay, I started it. You're allowed to know, but I don't want to know. That's what he said. Now, it's amazing. It's an amazing story. Shatz is like, I learned halachas. Now, I could say, I don't want to know. There are a lot of people like that. They say, people come to them with gossip, with this. He says, I don't want to know. I'm not interested. It's something that a bunch of them can make happen in a person. And a person, it's in many different areas. It could be in talking. It could be in different yitzhars. It could be in food habits. In anything it could happen. A person doesn't have the grip on it, and the Rebbeinu Shalom can make it happen. Now, the Rebbeinu Shalom created a mahalach that a person should take the Torah and Tefila, and this Torah and Tefila brings koiches, that it's infinite, it's bringing Ein Sof, it's bringing Rebbeinu Shalom, it's bringing koiches that's stronger than the person, it's bringing it to you in order So when you're going to, you're going to have to be oisik and in Yona Ya'olam. You're going to have to talk to people. You're going to have to deal with situations, and it's going to be, and then you're going to be able to do it. What does it say in the Torah? It says yes or it says no. If it's no, I don't want to do it. Next, I'm fine. What else? The Torah and Tefila is going to make that happen to the person, and when he has to deal with it, he's going to be able to deal the richtige mahalach. And that's bringing the Torah to a new level. It says in the Tzaddikim ring that not only the Torah takes the person at a higher level, the person puts the Torah on a higher level. They explain that Simchas Torah, the Hoshana Rabbah, we dance, we make a kofas around the Torah. But Simchas Torah, we dance with the Torah around the bima. So the shtickle in Tiferes Shloime from the Radomsker Rebbe. The Tiferes Shloime says, because we makayim all the mitzvahs, and all the mitzvahs we're doing good for the person, for the neshama. Then the Torah, we dance with the Torah also got bigger and stronger. The Torah was elevated to a new level. The Torah was up there, and now the Torah got into the dumps, and it's being niskayim in messy situations, with money, with all kinds of. We're doing the Torah dik. We're going to be doing Torah dik. The Torah is elevated by that. That's we dance Simchas Torah with the Torah to bring out that it's a new Torah after we were makayim the mitzvahs from the Torah. Al Kaponim, it helps understand why we have the Emunah B'tochen, and after we have the Emunah B'tochen, we're dumped into this world that we should do everything the way it's supposed to. Okay.